Hey everyone, Mitch coming in for the Commander Score Studio. Welcome to the show. So, mini March of the Machine spoiler season extravaganza, whatever this is continuing, and Ghalta and Mavren are a fantastic a part of it. Oh my goodness. So yeah, Ghalta, my old Dinos and Cars deck. I absolutely love that deck, love Ghalta, and this is a very different kind of dinosaur. A 12/12 dinosaur vampire with trample that costs 7 mana, 3 green, white. Yeah, here's the thing, which is kind of weird. You show this card, just even that first part, to someone from 20 years ago, and they're like, what in the world, 12/12 for 7 mana with trample and no downside? And in fact, there's an upside, because whenever you attack, you choose one. Create a tapped and attacking XX green dinosaur creature token with trample, where X is the greatest power among other attacking creatures. Or create X 1/1 white vampire creature tokens with lifelink, where X is the number of other attacking creatures. So, yeah, a ton of upside, a ton of deadly upside, and yeah, you can either just make, more massive dinosaurs, depending if you have another, great power creature, or a massive amount of vampire tokens if you've got a lot of other tokens out there. Now, keep in mind with that first one, unless I'm reading this wrong, which I don't believe I am, yeah, you're not just going to get a 12/12 when you attack, because it says power among other attacking creatures, so not including Ghalta and Mavren. So, yeah, there are some pretty easy ways, though, to take advantage of Ghalta and Mavren's power, though, to ensure that you can have another massive creature, potentially one just as big or even bigger. So then, yeah, you are going to be just producing bigger and bigger dinosaurs, or, the same size, but massive. You know what I mean? Anyways. Or, if you want to go wide, you can go with, a mass token strategy where you just have a ton of tokens, and yeah, you can just make an absurd amount of vampire creature tokens with lifelink. So, yeah, that's quite interesting as well. Now, keep in mind, the first one, the dinosaur, is going to come into play tapped and attacking. So that one is coming into play and already attacking, a player. The actual vampires, though, those will not come into play tapped and attacking. So that's kind of like, I assume it's just kind of like a protection thing. Like, hey, if I'm sending in a giant dinosaur, cool, it's probably going to survive, or at least, do a lot of damage. But if I, send in a bunch of tiny little vampires, they might just die. So I think that's probably why they worded it that way. It's kind of awkward, kind of weird, but something to keep in mind and remember. Regardless, something else to keep in mind. If you're interested in this brand new exciting commander, make sure you check out the card list link in the description below for all the cards I'm talking about on this episode, which are going to be broken down on this episode into budget buys, cards that are less than $1 cards that are within my budget, and also pricey pickups. So yeah, cards that are above my $1 mark. Now with all that said, let's jump into it. So starting off with the budget buys, again, cards that are less than $1. The first one that came to my mind was Miming Slime. Create an XX green ooze creature token, where X the greatest power among creatures you control. Now, again, this is one of the many ways to take advantage of Ghalta and Mavren's power. Hey, you got a 12/12 in play? Let's make another 12/12. So then, if we want to make even more 12/12s, we can, because again, that attack trigger is going to count creatures other than our commander. So yeah, just make a token, not copy of our commander, but make a token that has the exact same power and toughness, essentially. And then yeah, just make bigger and bigger dinosaurs. Fungal Sprouting, a way to go into the opposite direction, but still taking advantage of that power. You're going to get X saplings on the battlefield, where X the greatest power among creatures you control. So again, 12/1/1 saplings. Start swinging with those, and when you swing with the Ghalta, you're also going to be getting an absurd amount of vampires. Again, lifelinking vampires. Speaking of, well, even more creatures, making more creatures going wide and making big creatures going tall. Paradox Zone, it does both. Put a growth counter on it at the beginning of your end step, you double the number of counters on it. Then you make a 0/0 fractal that's going to get X counters on it. So yeah, basically, hey, first up, you're going to have a 2/2, then a 4/4, then an 8/8, and you see where this is going. You're going to make bigger and bigger creatures, which of course works really well with Ghalta's first, as a trigger essentially, right? Hey, make giant dinosaurs. Great, progressively bigger dinosaurs. Or, yeah, you're also going wide at the exact same time, every turn getting an extra token. So sure, make a ton of vampires, whichever direction you want to go. You can even throw more attack triggers out there, though, like Seraphic Greatsword. Throw that on Ghalta as well. +2/+2. So sure, Ghalta and Mavren is now a 14/14. Lovely. Whenever a creature attacks the player with the most life or tied for the most life, you also get a 4/4 white angel creature token with a flying that's tapped and attacking. that player. So you make even more creature tokens going wider as well. Speaking of wide, Visions of Glory. Oh my goodness, here we go. You get a 1/1 white human creature token for each creature you control. So yeah, that's going to be an absurd amount of tokens if you are going for that wide strategy. And here's the thing, that flashback cost would normally cost 10 mana, but again, this commander has a pretty high mana value, so it's just going to cost 3. So yeah, cast this for 3 to essentially, well, I mean, in a way, if you're casting and casting again, kind of like quadruple your creatures, which of course, then can basically be doubled when you attack as well. So yeah, some pretty gross things that you can do with this. Duel's Heritage. Speaking of gross, let's turn our commander into a one-shot KO. Whenever one or more creatures attack, you may have target attacking creature gain double strike until end of turn. So yeah, plenty of ways to get your commander through. And hey, when you do that, your commander can just, again, one-shot any player, essentially, in combination with this. And we can also take advantage of the keywords that are going to be out there. Again, Ghalta already having Trample. And yeah, those vampires having lifelink that you're going to be making, you can take advantage of them with Odric Lunarch Marshal. At the beginning of each combat, creature control gain first strike until end of turn. Creature controls first strike. The same is true for Flying, Death Touch, Double Strike, Haste, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Reach, Skulk, Trample, and Vigilance. So basically, keyword soup, spread it all out. If you've got one creature with maybe Flying, great way to get your commander through as well. Loyal Guardian. Also having Trample. Lieutenant, at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control your commander, get a counter each creature you control. This can be fantastic, especially when you are going in that go wide direction. Yeah, those vampires might just be 1/1s to start, but every single turn, they're going to get larger and larger, thanks to something like this. And yeah, since you are in Selesnya, you've got plenty of great ways to get a lot of counters on your creatures. And of course, you've got a lot of great ways to draw a lot of cards, because Sermonic Revelation is an absolutely incredible card. If you're going wide, hey, draw a card for each creature you control, and sure, gain some life as well while you're at it. Yeah, you can draw an absurd amount of cards with something like this to really set yourself up for victory. Moving on, let's move on to the pricier picks. Those cards that are above $1 and, yeah, well above $1 with cards like Doubling Season, Noe Procession, and Mondrak Glory Dominus. Hey, token doublers are expensive. Who knew? Doubling Season, if you create one or more tokens, create twice as many. Basically also, get, double the counters too as well. So that helps with, +1 counter strategies as well as, other strategies as well. But yeah, the most important part, hey, double up your tokens. So yeah, either make twice as many, giant dinosaurs, or yeah, incredibly wide, go twice as many vampires too. Annoying Procession. This just very simply just doubles your tokens, any tokens. So yeah, again, very expensive, very effective. Mondrak, yet another one that we just got for the most recent set. Doubling up tokens, and also this one, you can sacrifice tokens, tokens, creatures probably is what you're going to be sacrificing with this to essentially give it indestructible, so this can just be very, very hard to deal with. But yeah, I have to mention token doublers when you're talking about a commander that really deals with tokens, because if not, people in the comments below were like, well, what about Doubling Season? So, here you go. And speaking of tokens, well, Divine Visitation, if you are going for that go wide strategy, if you're going to be making vampire tokens, you know what? Let's switch it up. Maybe instead, make some angels. Divine Visitation says, if one of our creature tokens be created under your control, that many 4/4 white angel creature tokens with flying vigilance are created instead. So again, instead of just getting a bunch of tiny 1/1s, which are still great, yeah, well, let's instead just, mark it up just a little bit. Let's just go up a little bit to a 4/4 flying vigilant angel. I mean, if you have 10 tokens that you're making, right? Let's just say you're making 10 tokens, which of course is very easy to get to at a certain point. Yeah, there'll be 10 1/1s, there'll be 10 power across 10 bodies. This instead will be 40 power, flying, vigilant power. Yeah, a great card to consider if you've got the budget for it. Catharsis Crusade. Gross. Yeah, if you are going wide, this is an incredible card. Whenever a creature is battlefield under control, put a counter on each creature you control. So, yeah, with one attack, you can essentially make your army into an incredibly deadly killing machine by getting a ton of tokens into play. That then, of course, pump all your creatures. And, yeah, this can really build on itself. Unnatural Growth, if you are going for the, go tall strategy, hey, at the beginning of each combat, double the power token to each creature you control till end of turn. I mean, it's good for basically either strategy, but yeah, if you are getting those dinosaurs into play, those big ones, let's double up their power. Double your commander's power as well, too. And, yeah, your commander is a one-shot KO with this on the board. Speaking of a one-shot KO, very easy to set up when you've got Overwhelming Stampede. Yeah, maybe one turn, let's go, okay, we're going to go wide. Let's get a lot of vampires into play. And then the next turn, I'm going to cast this. Give all my creatures +12/+12 until end of turn, because it says, until end of turn, creatures control gain Trample, and get +X/+X until end of turn X series power on creatures you control. So again, our commander, 12 power. Let's make all of our tiny little vampire tokens into 13 13s. Make our commander to a one-shot KO. goodbye opponents. Speaking of which, return the Wild Speaker. In a smaller way, we can pump our creatures as well, but in a great way too. Hey, choose one. Draw cards equal to the greatest power among non-human creatures you control. So, yeah, 5 mana instant speed. Let's draw 12. Great. Or, hey, we can use the Steady Finisher too. Non-human creatures you control get +3/+3 until end of turn. So, yeah, attack with those little vampires. Your opponent's like, oh, you know, I can let these little 1/1s come through. That's not hurting me too much. And then all of a sudden, you're like, yeah, you know what? There are 3/3s. So, goodbye. And speaking of goodbye, Trailblazer Boots. Hey, equipped creature has non-basic land walk. Chances are very, very likely that every single one of your opponents is going to have at least one non-basic land, so your commander can easily get through on them with something like this. Yeah, commander damage, victories can definitely be a thing with this one. I mean, you could just go Voltron if you really want to again and say 12/12 for just 7 mana. So at the end of the day, yeah, you can take this commander in a couple of different directions. I mean, yeah, you could really focus on making a lot of dinosaurs, going tall, getting a, big, massive creature in play, really taking advantage of, again, doubling power effects and stuff like that. You could go Voltron. You could just make this into just, hey, I'm going to take my opponents out with my 12/12 dinosaur, which I can very easily turn into a one-shot KO. And then also, yeah, if you want to go wide, yeah, those vampires, that's probably the direction I would go. Go wide. Make a ton of vampires every single turn based on the number of attacking creatures. Be very aggressive. Just go very wide. And then, yeah, use overrun effects essentially to take your opponents out. Yeah, there's a lot of cool things that you can do with this one. I think a lot of players are going to be excited about it. I mean, who doesn't love a dinosaur vampire, right? Regardless, if you are excited about this one, make sure you check out that card list link in the description below. And with that, today's episode is coming to a close. So, yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on it in the comments below. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.